YouTube, what is good? Today I felt called to share a story of mine. This is something that's fairly intimate and personal, but it has a lot of value, and I feel it can really reach someone else in an intimate way. So it's more or less about my spiritual awakening and connection to the other realms, my first real exposure. I'm laughing because it actually really terrified me at the time, but it was really powerful. And in retrospect, I'm so grateful that it happened because I feel like it really set me on a path of deeper trust and just feeling more held and supported by the universe. So when I was about 20 years old, I was graduating from college at the time, and I was writing exams, and I was just under a lot of stress, and I was going through some things in my personal life. And I just remember that year I kind of felt like I was having a bit of a breakdown. My grandmother had passed away. It was in 2011. And her and I were really, really close. She was a strong maternal presence in my life. And so when I was going through what I was emotionally, I naturally called out to her at the time. I just remember being in tears and praying to her and just saying, man, I wish you were here. I really want your support. I miss you. I love you. And yeah, I was pretty distraught at the time. And I remember being alone at my parents' property at the time, my dad and my stepmom's house. They weren't there. I was alone for the weekend. And I went upstairs to my space, and as I was going to bed, I noticed a little baby mouse was running around in the bathtub. And I was like, I can't deal with this right now. Like, I knew that I needed to catch it because little mice running around in their home was not ideal. So I put it to the side until the next day. And of course, when I woke up, it was not even there. So I just figured, okay, it's one less thing I have to deal with right now. But then I went back a bit later in the day, and I saw the little baby mouse running around again. And I'm already a bit curious as to why this mouse or how it was in there. I understand that mice have their ways, but this little thing was like scurrying around the bathtub, and it was fully enclosed. There's a glass sliding door that was fully shut, and the drain is like very, very tightly knit. So I didn't really evaluate the situation that much at the time. I was just like, okay, let's catch this little thing, bring it outside. So I have this container and a lid, and I spent probably up to 10 minutes just trying to catch this thing because it was running around so fast and like squeaking like nuts. It was really cute. And finally I catch it and gently just guide it up the bathtub side, and I lift it and I put the see-through lid right on top, and I can feel it scurrying around. I hear it squeaking, and of course I'm curious to look at it. So in that moment I just kind of peek over, and in the moment that I went to look inside this fully enclosed container, just everything stopped. The noise stopped, the sensation of it running around stopped, and I like freaked out and dropped it and screamed, and nothing fell out of the container. I kid you not, the timing was insane. It was just as I looked in, even though it was closed still, just everything vanished in that moment. Yeah, so I was obviously really confused. I knew what I had experienced. I knew that there was no way that it left the container in any logical way. I called my mom and I was like hysterically laughing and crying. And in that moment, I really had this realization. I was like, oh, that was Baba, which is what I would call my grandma in Ukrainian. And I said to my mom, I was like, that was her connecting with me. I know it. And it kind of set in further afterwards because I realized like she used to always call herself Mighty Mouse. And she would do this thing where she would like crawl up my back as a mouse when I was really young. And it's so divine the way that it came through in such a beautiful, perfect way like that. There's no way I could have even thought of that prior to that experience, that she would show me through that type of symbolism. But it was so funny and beautiful and magic and just completely out of this world. And that was really a pivotal time for me to connect with my soul in a deeper way and really have a different perspective of life in a more magical way, where I knew that there was something beyond. There was something beyond this veil that we can maybe not see through always, but we can feel through. And it really put me in a good place because I was definitely in a challenging space in my life mentally. I did go through some challenging things that had followed that experience too, but having that happen at that time really reassured me that everything was okay and that I wasn't alone. So yeah, it's a story that I don't always share. A long time I felt I needed to be selective with who I told this story to, and it's still very special and sacred to me, but I'm in a place where I'm so connected to the energy behind it that I don't feel as vulnerable sharing it. I don't feel like I need to protect it as much because not everyone will understand or believe me, obviously, but I know my truth, and this story needs to be heard because it's really beautiful and it can bring reassurance and comfort to others. So yeah, I hope that you connected with it. Thank you so much for listening, and please like and subscribe if you want to hear some more magic. Mwah, mwah. Big love.